Welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast, all the way from Dagestan, just after Dubai. How's your trip? How's your adjusting to Dagestan? You're back.
Yeah, I'm back from Dubai, beautiful Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Going to the show in Abu Dhabi, the Warriors, UAE Warriors show, which I believe is the best best Middle East, best show in the Middle East. Fad Darwish and Abdul Manam, the president of Palm Sports, they did have a great program going over there, and they know what they're doing. They're doing a great show. And in Dubai, just a lot of good friends, a lot of training at Nas, complex, which is an unbelievable experience to be at such a big facility when it's a private gym, So certain people, are guests and they can go, and there's certain hours you can go, but it's just a nice, clean, beautiful gym.
Yeah, we put a video up of that. People are checking it out. So you had two AKA fighters win on that card, on the UAE
Yes,
Warriors.
yeah, Mo Alec, he fought, and really fast. The whole idea was take this guy down, stand with him, see what you feel. But we really wanted this guy on the ground. Took the guy down, and it really was honestly different levels. It was different levels. Mo was just a higher level. The guy had 5 fights, 4-1 was his record. Mo only had one pro fight, but still different level. And he just, took care of him the way I was thinking he probably could, and showed me that Mo's on track to, being a big star. And his only second fight, so it's still early in his career, but he's got a long ways to go. Sean Bunch, was the main event that following day, and he had a really tough fight. He used his wrestling pedigree to give him the win. That was a really tough fight. It was a close fight. I felt for 100% sure that Sean had done enough to win with the wrestling, but you never know what the judges are thinking. So that was one of those squeakers where you go, well, okay, I think we won. I feel we won. But if someone said no, if two of the judges thought that the other guy won, I would have disagreed. But it would have been. It's one of those type of fights. It's one of those type of fights where you said, well, that's the way it is. And then of course, you're biased, right? Because you're the coach, And I think I'm not biased, but you never know. You never know.
You're objective. I mean, if a guy gets knocked out or he gets dominated, like you get dominated. It is what it is. Close
Yeah, well, we
fights are
got our
close
butt kicked
fights.
in the second round for damn sure. We got beat up in the second round.
Yeah,
We
it's
put
been
a
a while. Sorry.
we put a kickboxing display with Bunch couldn't deal with the kickboxing just as well as the guy couldn't deal with Bunch's wrestling. So it was a mutual thing. Sean was competitive, kicked him in the head, punched him numerous times, but he just wasn't, on the longer run, right? He wouldn't been able to stand kickboxing with the proficiency of the other guy.
How did they enjoy coming over? This is the first time, like non Team Eagles per se, but AKA homegrown. Them fighting in Dubai. How'd they like the experience?
Well, Rosendo and Sean Bunch loved the experience. They stayed extra days after, and they got treated to some red carpet treatment. The last few days they were there, all their food and everything, and the driver was provided for them to drive around, and by an anonymous person that I won't say, but someone took care of them really well.
That's really nice. Really nice. So we get some interesting stuff coming up. We get this more
Jake Paul.
not the Jake Paul. Start off with the big match that's going on this weekend.
Why don't we
Uh,
start that one last? I didn't talk about Jake Paul. What do we got to say about Jake Paul?
well, we can
I didn't
talk
see the
about Jake
fight.
Paul.
Yeah, I didn't see the fight. What's up?
So what we know about Jake Paul is that Tyron didn't get the tattoo. He thinks he won, and basically Jake Paul's like, "See ya. I don't think you're trending anymore." That's what I got.
I didn't see the fight. I heard punch stats. He threw like maybe 2 or 3 in one round or something like that, and he didn't average. He averaged like 50 punches the whole 8 rounds. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was watching it. He get one good hard punch, one clubber lang punch. Tyron did. Had him a little rung, but not totally wobbled out. But he stung him. But it looked to me like Jake Paul kept more busy and he was getting more punches, winning rounds by punches, getting more output.
So effectiveness, Woodley was effective. He just didn't throw enough, was what I get.
Yeah, yeah. He was putting pressure, but he wasn't throwing anything. I mean,
You
you
can
get
put
one good one.
all the pressure you want is great, but if you're not punching, you're not scoring points.
Right.
You got to punch. So he didn't do one thing that was important, and that's throw more. And I mean, that's but the thing is, I can see how he feels he controlled it and he won it, because if I'm pressuring you and I'm hitting you with almost every shot I throw, but you're backing up, yeah, you might have thrown 10 to my one, but you're the one backpedaling and I landed. I can see how and you would think that, but in the judge's eyes, the vast majority of the judges probably wouldn't see it that way, but apparently one did, right? So it's a split decision. So his version of how he thought he won it wasn't ridiculous, because somebody else felt he won too. So
Well,
I see the fight, but I'm just going based on that.
Punch stats were in the favor of Jake Paul.
What's the
More
punch?
punches.
What's
I
the
don't
punch?
I don't have the numbers, but I know that I was watching it and I saw definitely like 3-1. In many cases, I saw him putting out more, but then of course they're gonna look at how hard was the punch, was it effective, right? I mean, I'm not a judge. Just
Yeah,
taking that into consideration.
but still, this is the way the boxing judges is this. Okay, look, listen, you can hit a guy 4 times, 50 times. He hits you 1 time and he rocks you. He wins the round. So if Jake hits him with 6, Woodley hits him with 1, but Woodley's 1, makes him wobbly, then Woodley wins the round. But if Woodley doesn't wobble him and he's being aggressive, but he doesn't throw enough, then no, he doesn't. If the other guy threw more and landed more, it's not. You have to do something substantial, like that one picture that I see where he hit him and he dropped him and he was up against the ropes. I didn't, I just saw the picture. It looked like the rope saved him from falling down. At the same time, too, I saw a picture on Jacob CBD that they put out there, and you see Paul hit him with the overhand right, and Woodley went in for the clinch. Had he not been there, he would have hit the ground too. It appeared from the video. I'm sure in live you might not have seen that, but from the video it looked like, whoa, he got hit with a pretty good shot, And then I heard that Jake Paul, his legs were gone, and the first thing hit me is nerves. He didn't relax enough. Or probably just overconfident on making himself like, I can do this, instead of relaxing, slowing it down. That's my guess, is that he wasn't relaxed enough. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this was his 4th fight, and me being an ex-fighter, I knew in my 4th fight, if you told me I have to fight in front of freaking 20,000 people, oh my, no way. The nerves would be so much, I'd be done. I wouldn't be able to. I'd be surprised if I went out there. I'd have tunnel vision. I'd have everything. I wouldn't know if I was going to work or not work. Because it's tough, man. You don't have any experience until you experience it. Now, the next time Jake comes out there, he's going to do better, And if there would be a rematch, I bet you Woodley would do better also. So they both would do better. So, but then again, I don't know. What's the deal? I mean, he didn't get the tattoo. Was there a deal?
He didn't get the tattoo. The deal was get a tattoo. He goes, I want a rematch. He goes, okay, get the tattoo. I got a tattoo artist right here. So apparently he didn't want to get the I Love Jake Paul tattoo on his body. And
yeah, go ahead.
And so they were kind of like writing him off, Jake and his brother, like, hey, you're not trending anymore, bro. You're done. So that's how they felt about it towards Tyron. And, it was like he didn't get, Woodley didn't get dominated, but Woodley got outpointed. That's what I saw in the fight. I see where the judges gave that. I mean, there was a couple rounds for Woodley for sure, but it wasn't by, it was by more power and like that. So the amount of rounds, I think, favored Jake Paul. But do I think he will go beat every MMA fighter in the world after this? I don't think so. Just my opinion. You're talking about a guy that's on a 3-fight losing streak that just left the MMA getting older, and I don't know where his head's at.
Was it 3 or 4?
I
I
think
thought
it
it was
was.
4.
It might have
I
been 4.
think it was 4.
We'd have
You
to
know,
check on
he's
that.
fought nothing but the baddest dudes on the planet, though.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and he's fought nothing but he's one of the great ones. He's one of the great ones. So, yeah. But the thing of it is like if I was in his situation and I made the bet about the tattoo, and I didn't win, I would do the same thing as he did. I would say, hey, give me another rematch and I'll do the tattoo. Otherwise, screw you. I'm not gonna put that tattoo.
Imagine you're branded. Let me remember my loss. It's
No
on my
way, no
body.
way. Woodley did it correctly. I wouldn't do it either. I don't care. I'm not gonna. Because well, I take the bet because he put me in pressure situation in front of everybody, right? So I'll take the bet because you're a fighter. You're not gonna lose. You don't care. You gotta knock this fool out. That's what you're thinking. But then when you lose, you're like, I ain't putting that damn tattoo. I guarantee you, had it been the reverse, Jake Paul ain't putting that tattoo either. No way. Not
Right.
happening. Not happening. And on the rematch, it would be sign the rematch and I'll do the tattoo, which pretty ballsy on Woodley's part if there would be a rematch, right? Because now he's going to have it. Then and if he did have the rematch, then I would make sure to say yeah, but you can't put nothing over it. You know what I mean? Like to cover it up later, you got to leave it. Because because you can put the duo the I love Jake or I love Woodley, right? But then once the fight's done, you put it on, but then later you put something on it to cover it, you know?
Right, right. You have to wear it on your forehead. That's the bet. No, I'm kidding. Just imagine that,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Well,
I
I
didn't see
mean,
the fight, so I can't judge. I can only say on just the punch stats alone, if you're not hurting them every round and you're being outpointed, like you said, and you said 3-1. I don't know what the punch stat is, but
I'm
if
just
you're
rounding out by my
outlanded,
memory.
yeah, if
Yeah,
you're getting outlanded and all you're doing is being aggressive, but the other guy's sidestepping, matadoring you and hitting you, it's kind of hard to sway most judges unless you hurt him. If you hurt
right.
him, if you hurt him, that's different. If you hurt him every round with every shot, if he hit every shot and it wobbled him or hit him really clean, you can hit 30 jabs to his 4 right hands. You're gonna lose those 4 right hands if they're they startle you and they're not startle you, but they make you wobble a little bit. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose.
Well, let's talk about. I mean, now there's more MMA fighters going into boxing. We just said Anderson Silva looked great, and now I think he's back again. And this is like they got the controversial thing on that. But let's put this up here. Um, So this is the fight that's coming up this weekend. You get Holyfield versus Belfort, apparently because his other opponent, Golden Boy, got COVID. And then
Yeah,
you have Tito Ortiz fighting Anderson Silva,
yeah.
which I'm going to say I favor Anderson Silva in this one.
Is this all the same card?
This is on the same card.
Oh,
This
the
is Triller
Triller?
again. This is
Triller
Triller.
again? Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Holyfield in there. He's like 58 years old. You got
Yeah.
Tito. He's had a couple of MMA fights recently. Get Belfort. He's been out for a little while from MMA, and Anderson Silva coming off a fresh win in boxing. How do you see the Ortiz versus Anderson Silva fight going in boxing?
Well, I don't see. Uh, it's kind of hard for me to see Tito doing something to Anderson Silva, especially since Anderson just beat a reputable world ex champion in boxing who's not that old. Anderson, whatever you want to say, he proved he's really standalone in the department of an MMA guy going to boxing because what he did, no one would have ever predicted it. I wouldn't have. I would have thought, yeah, he'll make it exciting, but I would have thought no way. But then then the people that I watched that will go, well, that was Chavez Jr. La la la. But well, hey, wait a minute. He still had what 40 something, 50 something fights with few losses, and he held the world title. Anderson didn't even have a pro fight, so I mean, boxing. So it's still not a huge accomplishment, And this one here, I think that just his movement alone is, and then the fact that he fought already, it's a big advantage for Anderson. It's a huge disadvantage for Tito. So I don't. I look at it as a game fight because Tito is game. He's a great. He's one of the greats, and but I just see him being outworked and outmaneuvered.
I personally think watching all the Anderson Silva fights, the biggest trouble that Tito had trouble with was like, let's look back at Chuck Liddell when he beat him in the UFC before he beat him outside of the UFC. Chuck was in his prime, Tito was in his prime. He couldn't deal with Chuck's punches. I think Anderson Silva's even more crafty with the punches. And I also think, we've seen him knock out people like Forrest Griffith, who were like the same size as Tito Ortiz. So, I mean, remember Anderson Silva would stay at 185 and then he'd jump up to 205?
Yeah, he did that with Daniel Cormier on short notice. He fought Daniel, and Daniel was going to stand with him, and I told Daniel, no, do not stand with him. Not good. Why? I want to stand with him. I go, no, do not stand with him. He's too sharp. You can't do that. Oh, okay, well, I don't know. I want to stand with him. Oh, no, Daniel, don't, no. So if you watch the fight, people should watch the fight, see what happens. Daniel stands with him, and he's doing okay, but all of a sudden, sharpshooting comes in. And then when Daniel got hit with the body kick, that's when Daniel said, "Oh, screw this." He took Anderson down. But it was so easy. That fight was not hard for Daniel at all because Anderson had no way of stopping Daniel. Impossible to stop Daniel on any kind of takedown. First of all, Anderson wasn't big enough, and the striking is a bit in the same way for us. There's no way we would have beat Anderson on the stand-up. He's too sharp. And DC, when he went in there with him, he realized that too, that this guy is another level of striking. So, yeah, when you're that good of a striker, you can go up the weight. And if they're not looking to take you down, but if they're looking to take you down, then a wrestler based like Daniel, then it's not good for Anderson because of the size. Unless it's striking. Anderson will tear up just about anybody. If not everybody.
That's the thing. I mean, Tito is facing a guy that's got historically better hands, in my opinion. And he looked good in his last boxing match. So I give the edge to Silva. And then as far as Holyfield and Belfort, it's a question mark. Age versus starting to get to the age. Young Belfort, he was very fast with his hands. Who knows what all regulations and what guy's going to show up. What do you think? How do you see that fight going off?
Well, you got, in my opinion, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, a two-time champion, two-weight division champion, 58 years old, too much experience, too athletic, fighting a great MMA fighter that was basically undersized, and got great speed, great power, but with a guy like Holyfield, doesn't matter what kind of power you have. If you don't have his kind of expertise, they'll take your power away from you very easily within a round or 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Before you know it, your hands are like molasses. You're not punching anymore, and he's tearing you apart little by little. I know people forget, but remember what he did to Mike Tyson. Holyfield destroyed Mike Tyson technically. Mike tried to rip him apart, and Mike's one of the fiercest guy ever, out there that I've seen. And Holyfield outboxed him, out-techniqued him. And, the second one, he frustrated him that Mike did what he did, But regardless, to me, Holyfield's one of the great ones, if not, he's top 3, top 4 greatest heavyweight of all time. I don't see much. I know he's 58, and I know what Belfort's 44.
Something like that, yeah.
And he does possess the power. He does possess the speed. He does possess the ability, but he doesn't have that boxing experience. Not like at that level. And it's even like me, right? I haven't done anything in 20 something years, but I can go in with somebody without doing anything and not box most people. And I still haven't done anything. I'm not in shape. I'm not nothing, but I can still do a lot more than you would think for somebody that hasn't done anything, So Holyfield was the pinnacle of greatness, where he was the greatest of the great, and I have a hard time seeing anything happening here.
I have an interesting one. This came up. So we've recently become acquainted with a very interesting gentleman we will be talking about more in the future, Peter Chin, who was a very close friend of Bruce Lee, and we get to understand what Jeet Kune Do is and what people think it is. Tito Ortiz says, ready to deal with Anderson Silva's Wing Chun Bruce Lee BS. That's the funny part. That's a really big misunderstanding. First of all, he's not going to be using his kicks and stuff. This is boxing, so I don't even know why he would say something like that. Why do you think he'd even go there?
He knows how to market it. He's fantastic. He's one of the great ones at marketing, and he's causing interest, and he's causing people to, especially Wing Chun guys, to want to see Anderson and show him some Wing Chun. That Anderson's going to show him some great boxing compared to Tito, and some great movement. And then Anderson might for throwing the boot. Yeah, there's your Wing Chun for you. But make no mistake about it. It's going to be an interesting fight because. Tito brings it. He brings it. I just don't see Anderson outside of getting clipped. I don't see him getting out struck by Tito. I don't. I don't. I mean, Tito's going to push him. His size, but he's going to be slower. His movement is going to be as good. And like I said, outside Tito clipping him and knocking him out, I don't see him outpointing Anderson. I don't. And the Wing Chun. That's just him being a great at marketing, and for me, it's a big thumbs up to Tito for creating those taglines that people like to use. That's what people don't understand is when you got a guy that he goes out there and he makes those comments like Khabib. Okay, simple little thing. I'm telling you right now. Send me location. Okay, what happens with that? That's like a monster one, right? Send me location. Okay, so. So think about Muhammad Ali. How many taglines did Muhammad Ali do too?
So many.
So it's marketing. And Tito is brilliant at it. Tito studied it, and Tito did as much as he could to perfect it, and he did an unbelievable job. Remember when he had that rift between him and Ken Shamrock, and then when he put I think it was Guy Metzger. He beat my guy, and then he starts doing the shovel thing and then like
the grave digger,
the grave digger thing, and then that riled up Ken, which caused a great thing to happen for Tito because Ken wanted to fight him, and I was at that fight, and I'm gonna tell you something. I've never been as a fan more electrified than that fight. Man, that fight had me. Nobody stood down for that one. Everybody stood up on that one. It was so exciting. I was so excited. That fight got me like so pumped, man. I was like, wow, this is. The energy of that event was just second to none, man. I can't recall as a fan any other fight that I was more excited to see than that fight. And of course, and it was all because Tito knows how to market it. And Ken isn't so much the marketer as so much as he is the real person. Ken shows you who he is. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Ken is Ken. He's one of the greats. And say what you will or say what you won't. He's one of the greats, and he made a big name because he deserved to make a big name. And he went on to the WWE, did great there, came back to MMA, and back and forth. He was one of the pioneers that he knows how to market himself, but he's the real deal. Ken's the real deal. He's not pretending to be anybody. Tito markets himself to be, great at it. Ken's just Ken, and Ken's the real guy.
It's interesting. We're going to have a podcast like no one else has ever had on the history of Bruce Lee. And it's funny to me because I realize I'm going to just use this little nugget. I'm not going to give away a lot that happens. And, you and I will do one with Peter. But he studied under Bruce Lee and he knows him intimately more than anybody that, we've seen out there yet that's claimed to have all this friendship. There's people that knew him, but it's how. And we'll get into that in the podcast. But to say that Bruce Lee was Wing Chun, that was something he studied for 3 months. That's like me calling you a Taekwondo fighter, but you were a kickboxer, even though you took it for, half a year or something, right? So that's the funniest part. That's what people don't make the association. Great for marketing, but I'm just dispelling the myth because Wing Chun was not his style.
I don't know. I don't know. Bruce Lee's style was whatever works. His style. If Bruce was still alive to this day, his style would be MMA with added stuff to it because he was an innovator. He knew he knew what worked. He saw what didn't work, and he put in the good, took out the bad, and said, "No, I'm not using this no more. I'm gonna use this." I mean, anybody that followed anything of him and watched him, even in his like Enter the Dragon, that beginning scene, that was an MMA scene, bro. Anybody
Right.
that doesn't see that, then they don't know how great of an innovator Bruce Lee was. And you know, I mean, if you really look at him, was he a fighter? Well, no, he never fought, so he wasn't a fighter in the ring. Was he a fighter outside the ring? You bet your ass he was. You know, would you want to deal with him? I wouldn't want to deal with him. I mean, Quentin Tarantino had his comments about him, but you know, you make comments and you're not a fighter. You're not a fighter. You're just a movie producer guy. You're not. You know, you're
Right.
saying whoever you are, but you're not qualified to say what you're saying. You know, because I'm around those guys all the time. They're telling me, oh, so and so, he's 6'4", he's a badass, this, but then you know, but if you're not a real fighter and you come in there with a real street fighter like Bruce, that 6'4" guy is gonna get destroyed because you know he's a street fighter, and Bruce's mentality was still to this day, in my opinion, probably ahead of all of us. You know, to this day, I think, you know, he was an innovator. He was a great thinker, you know, and a great athlete, you know, and he knew taking care of the body was a humongous important thing. And like, I don't know a lot about him other than I admired him. And of course, I got involved because of him in martial arts, just like probably everybody else in our generation, you know?
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the inspiration, but to understand the message, because there's so much around it, we'll get into that later. But what did you draw from him? The philosophy? I mean, there's something that you drew from him. I mean, you don't, your fighters don't look like him in the ring and all that, but it's the philosophy, right? More than
Well,
anything.
yeah, the philosophy is the mental part that he was very big on, you know. And listen, you know, you talked about me as a coach and what I've accomplished as a coach, as many champions as I've made. I mean, if you talk to me, Hob, can you show me a takedown? No. Hob, can you show me how to do proper armbar? No. Hob, can you show me how to do a knee bar? Nope. Can you know you show me a throw? Nope. Can't show you any of that because I don't know it. You know, I don't know it. You know, I know what you can do with it, and I know who should teach you, and I know what you need to do and what not to do, but I can't teach you because I don't know it. You know, and for me, that's where the mental comes in, and that's what I've done my whole life, and how I've been able to produce, you know, as many champions. Lucky that I have been, is but mental is where you know where I've been successful. It's not technical; it's mental because you know. And here's a guy that you're looking at. What I've been involved since 1995, and UFC. You know, and
Yeah.
after UFC, my first fighter wasn't my fighter, but first fighter I trained was Paul Polar Bear Varlins. Bless his soul, rest in peace, Paul. You know, everybody misses the polar bear, but you know that's when I first got involved in MMA. And you know, you think that coach has been at it since 1995. Well, that's like what 26 years. So I should be like a grandmaster at grappling.
A 19th tangerine belt. You
Yeah,
should be.
not even a white belt. You know, I couldn't teach you any of that stuff. I mean, I'm good at boxing. I'm good at kickboxing. Not great at Thai boxing. Decent, not great. But yet, why am I producing all these guys? Because I'm not doing the work that somebody else is better qualified to do. And I'm not. My ego doesn't get in the way to say, hey, you know, I can teach you all. I can't teach you all. I can only teach you this far. But mentally, oh, mentally, I can sharpen you up, and I can, you know, figure out your weak points, your strong points, and make your strong points stronger. Make your weak points, you know, how to pick them up, how to acknowledge them, how to point them out, you know. And I think that that's a big philosophy in the way of Bruce Wayne's thinking, and he's still ahead of us. Like I said, he's still ahead of me, you know. And he died at 32. So how great was his mind? Unbelievable,
Right.
unbelievable,
Right.
unbelievable mind. As a
I
fighter, like per se, like is he a ring fighter? Can he fight all these guys? Well, it's like anything, right? If you've never been in the ring, it's kind of hard for you to really, you know, excel. You know, and a street fight is a whole different ball game than the ring fighting. And anybody that understands this would go to a Muhammad Ali book, where Muhammad Ali, when he was in high school, he had this one bully that was a really good street fighter, and it's challenging Muhammad to a fight. Muhammad knew if he fought this guy in the street, that he's probably going to get his butt handed to him. So what Ali did was he got this guy to agree to fight in the boxing ring. So that was Ali's domain. So then he basically did his number on this guy, and you know, someone that understands this can read it. I don't know where the book is or how far back it was, but I read it, and Ali, you know, basically flat out just said this guy would have smashed me in a street fight because I'm not a street fighter, you know, and it's so true. But think about the way Ali punched with open hands, this and that. I mean, could have broken his knuckles. Who knows? Who knows? You know, who knows? But a street fight's not a ring fight, and therefore, Bruce was never a ring fighter, but he was, you know, mentally, and from what I hear, he has had street fights. So that makes him in a street fight extremely dangerous, because in a street fight there's no rules, and Bruce had knives in his belts, you know, where a belt was made out of a knife, you know. I mean, a belt was put into
The buckle?
knife was put into a buckle,
Right,
you know,
right.
so before you know it, he's taking off his belt that you're thinking, oh, he's taking off his belt, and you know he's using a knife like that. You know, and
Well,
as fast as he was, yeah, good luck. Good luck with that with the knife in someone as fast as he was. Good luck. I don't care how big you are. When you were that fast like he was, he's gonna rip you apart, man.
it's interesting because a lot of people see different martial arts, and you can take something good from each one of them in a way and use it and implement it into your MMA. You can go to a formal karate, boxing, all these things, and in mixed martial arts, everything goes. So you have to evolve with it. But then you say a street fight, well, you see an eye poke, stop the fight. You know, in street fights, those are totally legit. So
Yeah,
that
right,
changes it,
exactly.
right?
Well, like, there's no get ready, get set, go. It's like, you know, you could look this way and you got hit. You can look this way, you get poked in the eyes. You could look this way. So many damn things could happen. You know, you can turn around, he grabs your hair, you know, and I mean, there's so many things in a street fight that are are, are, are options that in MMA there are no options. So, you know, street fighting is a whole different art in itself. You know, and Bruce didn't study ring fighting. He studied actual live combative fighting. You know, did he
He
have
did
many?
street fights. Yeah, he did street
Yes.
fights. We'll get more into
Did he?
that. It'll be fun when we have Peter on with you and me, but we're just kind of like teasing this out there, what people will actually discover about martial arts, where it was and where it is today, and how it ties into you and how it ties into what he started, because you're the coach of people that have a variety of different arts. None of your students are identical. They look at Islam, oh, he's better at throwing kicks than Khabib, or they look at Umar, he's faster, but Usman's more creative. Like all your guys are different. So you coach them to the best of their abilities. Am I right? Like you look at what they're about and go, okay, you know?
Well, that's the coaching. That's the coaching scenario that a lot of people don't get. There's a coach, and there's a mid holder, you know, and there's a pretender, you know, and you know, I'm a mid holder, but I'm not a great mid holder. You know, what I am is I'm really good with strategies, on game planning, and I'm really good on building the mental. You know, and one thing I haven't been able to do is, if the fighter does not want it, I haven't really been able to get him to really fight if he doesn't really want it. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't. They're fighting. They're fighting. Don't get me wrong. They're training, but they really don't want it, and it's really hard. Like one person, I can tell you that's always wanted it, but it was always hidden. Was Abu Bakar. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he. I've been working with him for a few years on a lot of the things on the mental, and I'll tell you right now, if you watch them now, you'd go, man, he's one of Hobbs' best guys, and he is, truly is one of my best strikers, because you know he wanted it, and there was a lot of mental work that I did with him, you know, and technical too, but a lot of mental, and you know, he is really one of my biggest, proudest achievements on the Dagestani guys, as far as, you know, how great he looks on the stand up compared to where he was. looked amazing. His last fight, he was amazing stand-up. They didn't expect that from him because they did not expect that kind of stand-up. And he is amazing. He's definitely somebody that made a big difference.
That's so true. I mean, it is the mental. You see some guys have more of a block than others. You're sitting there as a coach. I never asked you that. Like you see a guy, you're like, if he just gets in a second gear, it's on, but he's stuck in first gear. What is that mental block? Do you have to dig deep? How do you address that as a coach? I know people can say stuff in the corner. You're trying to find the hot button. Like this is the hot button. Go, go, go. I mean, what is that like?
Well, that's the thing I'm saying. That some of those things I can't figure them out. I try, I can't figure them out. Some I can. Like if they're mentally wanted, that's what I was saying, and that's exactly you're bringing up the same thing I just said. Well, I'll give you a for instance with Khabib. Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, his last fight when the fight was signed, I said to Khabib, he's coming after your legs, calf kick, low calf kick. He's coming after your legs, low calf kick. Blah, 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 blah. Every day we train. Every day I told him he's coming after you. And why you keep telling me, Coach? Because I looked at it, I thought about everything, and that's the only way he really is gonna beat you. Is gonna tear that lead leg of yours, where you're not gonna be able to do anything. That's his avenue to victory with you. That's it. There's nothing else. He's not gonna be able to do anything else to you but that. And so if I wouldn't have prepared him mentally for that, I'm telling you, it would have been a shock for him had he got in there. And Habib has a way of winning no matter what, but still, he was prepared for those because and look how many times he got hit, and we were prepared. He still got hit. And another thing is when he went with somebody else. I told him he was going to do this, he was going to do that, and sure enough, it happened. Whereas like with Dustin Poirier, it was like, well. He's kind of good everywhere, so it's kind of like we just have to fight, fight to our strengths, and which was father's plan. But Dustin was he's mentally, and he's good everywhere. Dustin is just good everywhere. There isn't a weakness on him, really. If you really break down how good of a fighter Dustin Poirier is, he's really, really good.
How is so you're going to be training the guys in Dagestan for a couple weeks before you have two different places. You're going to be going from Dagestan with Usman to Moscow for the Fedor Bellator card.
Okay, what's happening is I just got into Dagestan yesterday night and from Dubai, and anybody that's been in Dagestan will kind of contest to this. That man, the driving is nuts over here. It's like that. The guy that picked me up, he's a great guy, Arslan, and I was just like thinking I'm gonna die. I'm holding on. These guys, man, Coach, you want to go? Where you want to go? I go, yeah. You sleepy, Coach? I go, yeah. All of a sudden, boom, and I'm like going like this. And I didn't say a word. I'm just like, I'm gonna die. They're just nuts. So, anyways, long story after that. I'm here for a week, and then on Friday, Manap and I are going to Moscow for Habib's father's show. Abdul Manap's show on September 17th in Moscow. We're going over there, and then we'll be back here. And then we're scheduled, me, Islam, Zubaira, and Tahir. We're going to Dubai, and Habib. We have to figure it out, to be honest with you. We're not 100% confirmed. So either Habib's going to stay here and I'm going to go to Dubai, or we're all going to stay as a team. We have to discuss that more at length. But right now, I'm here, and he'll be here next week. He's in Moscow now. He'll be here next week, and then we'll be together, and we can decide how we're going to go. And we have a lot of fights coming up. It's just
close apart too. You have Bellator happening a week out from Islam, so you have Usman a week out from so to keep the camp running on track, right, at each place. That's like the time management game.
Yeah. Well, the whole idea is that we like getting acclimated to where we're fighting. So since Islam and Zubaira and Tahir are fighting in Abu Dhabi, we want to be in that climate, and there's no point in Usman being in that climate because he's going to be fighting in a colder climate. So they feel it's more advantageous for them to be in Moscow training, which makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, the best advantage is always training where you're going to fight. It's always
Yeah.
the best advantage, 100%. In Habib, like I've said before, if he's not a great coach now, he will be, and I'll double down on it when I say he's going to be the greatest coach of all time by the time he's done. Because number one, he's a great coach now, and he's only 32. Only 32, and he knows everything. I don't know how to grapple. I don't know sambo. He knows it all now, almost. He doesn't know a lot of the striking as much as he should, but he knows the fight strategies. I'll tell you right now. There's just little things here and there that he needs from me, and he's getting them from me. But there will be a point where his coach is just going to be, coach, just sit down, let me do the work. I'm gonna go, what? I can't help. No, coach, just sit down. I got this. I got this. I mean, he's that good. He really is that good. And he's only 32, and already he's that good. I put Habib up there with the best of the best right now.
It's interesting because you've got Habib, champion, and a coach. Now you've doubled your horsepower. Your team's bigger, but you got two coaches. So you can send one coach here and one coach to Dubai, and then whammy bammy, you guys are all good, right?
No, I actually got three great coaches. Four great coaches, believe it or not. I got Ron Kessler at home, the head coach
Yes.
for AKA. And I have Tomas Diagni, who was one of the fighters and former world champion Sancho fighter. He is becoming a great coach. So I got that, and of course we got Mr. Backup DC, but DC is so popular, so involved in what he does that we got him as moral support more than we do anything else, because DC has so much going on that I haven't even seen DC coach in my gym for quite a long time, because he just doesn't have the time. So he has his own wrestling club in Gilroy, where it's DC's wrestling club, and the kids go wrestle there. Some of our guys go over there when they can. But the problem with DC is limit. How many DCs are there? There's only one, and he
Right.
can't be at every place at one time. He's limited to what he can do. And I just saw he signed something to some kind of exciting TV role or movie. I don't know what it is. What was it? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a
No,
remake.
I
A
can
remake.
look it up.
Look it up. DC just signed. I looked at it this morning real briefly. I didn't really, but it's a remake of something that I guess won a lot of Academy Awards, and it didn't do great at the box office, but it won a lot of awards. It hit like 13 mil or something like that. I don't know on money wise, but awards wise, it killed it.
Oh, to star in Warrior spin-off TV show.
Yeah.
Warrior was like an MMA show, I believe, like a series. It was really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So it should be pretty good. I mean, it's in his element. You don't have to act to what you already know in person in real life, right? So
Yeah.
you're going to come through the screen a lot better. Plus, he's a great actor. Come on, he's just never read this
Well,
yet.
I'm not going to give him a great actor. No. Let's hold back on the great actor thing. Right? You're talking Robert De Niro. You're talking those are great actors, bro. Clint Eastwood. Things of that nature. And not many guys out there in that scenario. DC is an actor. Who's going to be potentially great, but we don't know yet. Let's acting is one thing. Being good on front of the camera, being a comedian, that's one thing. But being an actor is another. It's the same with me. You put me in a podcast, I'm pretty good. I'm not bad. Put me in an acting situation, I suck. Because I got to do the line you want me to do. I got to do it the way you want me to do it. It's like I've always sucked every time a journalist comes in. Can you say this? And I'm like,
Improvise. Yeah.
okay, what was I going to say again? And I'll screw up the name. I mean, come on, man. It's like, let's be real. Those actors, when you say great actors, dude, then you don't really know acting. Those dudes are badass, you know?
So from here on out, you're trying to get closer to the gym, and then you can start running the team and getting the practice, looking at what they're doing, how they're developing in their team. They're sparring and looking for game plans.
Yeah, I told Habib I want him to put me near the gym so I can walk there, so I don't have to wait for nobody. But I don't think he realized. But where I'm at, it's like a maze. Those guys couldn't even find me. Trying to find coach. Where's your apartment at? I don't know. And you send me WhatsApp location. I go, okay. And they still couldn't find the apartment. They couldn't even find me. And they had to say, Monop was going, Coach, where are you? Where are you? And I said, I'm here. I'm outside. Where? I'm out here. And I tell Habib, I go, hey, I thought you were going to, he goes, oh, Coach, no problem. He goes, you're only 10-minute walk from here to the gym, 5 minute by car. And I'm going, that doesn't equate. How does 5 minute by car, 10-minute walking equate?
No, 20
Right?
minutes, 20-minute walk
If you
minimum.
do 5 minutes on car, bro, depends.
30 minutes. Well, the way they drive, 45 minutes.
It could be 30 minutes to an hour walking, And then on the way back, Manapa dropped me off. He goes, Coach, this place is crazy. And he lives here.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
The other funny thing is, Manap, we were at a restaurant. The food over here is delicious. They got all kinds of food. Dagestani, Russian food. This dude is great food, really good food. And he decides to have somebody come in with the cake, a little tortilla-like cake, and they're singing "Happy Birthday, Happy Birthday," and I'm going, "Whose birthday is it?" And they say, "Happy birthday, Coach." I'm like, "Mana." He goes, "What, Coach?" I go, "It's not my birthday, bro." He goes, "No." I go, "No, look." He goes, "Oh, it's not your birthday." I go, "No. Who told you today was my birthday?" He goes, "I don't know. I thought it was your birthday." I said, "No, it's not my birthday."
He was pranking you. You know what? He was up to the innocent prank. Oh, I didn't know.
He ended up eating he ended up eating the tortilla cake. I filmed him too. He ate the cake.
Oh, that's awesome.
Maybe we should put it up. We should put it on. Maybe we should put it on.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
Well, maybe I'll send you the clips. You can put it up. It's just not like my birthday.
That's awesome. So how's the jet lag? You just getting acclimated? Like is there a jet lag between Dubai and Dagestan, or is
Zero.
there
Zero, really zero. Real. I slept like a baby last night for the first time. The last 3 nights in Dubai, man, I couldn't sleep at all. And then let me tell you, it's learning to relax, trying to learn to relax anyway is such a key thing. That when your mind is racing, like mine does all the time, because I'm a thinker, it's really tough, really, really tough. So I had a tough time, bro. I had a real tough time, and I came down here and I slept 12 hours, 12 hours.
Is it cooler there in Dagestan? That probably helps. The climate helps too sometimes.
Well, big time, big time. It's really cool. Yeah, it's nice, really nice weather right now. Really nice.
Like fall, from hot desert to the fall cool air of the mountains, huh?
Yeah, but around this time in Dubai and the UAE in general is super nice, man. It's like during this time to like March. Wow, it's so beautiful over there. So many things to do. Jumeirah, yeah, area over there. It's like wow, the palms. Where there's that man-built, like leaf
The
like
islands.
homes. Yeah, dude, it's innovative. I mean, they're ahead in technology over there for damn sure. Whether people realize it or not, if you go over there, you'll realize that they're ahead in technology of homestead of just about anybody. They're unbelievable over there. They're so efficient. Listen. When I went to check in to come to Dagestan, man, it was like automated things. They had everything. Your name, boom, 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 boom. You went right through, no problem. It's so fast. On the way back here in Dagestan, it took me an hour and 15 minutes to get through customs, and there was only like maybe 50 people. Still took me an hour and 15 minutes to get through. And the only reason why I got through sooner is because they're connected over there through some of the people, and they saw me, and they made an exception for me to go through. Otherwise, I'd have been stuck there a lot longer.
So what does today consist of? You're waiting for dinner, you're waiting for your next driver, or it's a day, it's a wrap, just chill out, get ready for tomorrow?
No, today was a day that I still struggling. So
I could see a little bit on the pod, but hey, anybody watching, give him a break. He's traveling, man. I know.
Yeah, I was. Today was the day that I was gonna go train with the team, and I didn't. And I was gonna go train with the team later, and I didn't. And but I will. We start Monday 100%, and I'm here. They're my guys. I'm not gonna let them down. There's no way they'll be ready. They're always ready. They're always training as it is. I mean, when I train these guys, to me, it's like family. They're not my fighters. They're my family. You know, that's how close we become, and that's how they treat me. You know, they take the best care of me. Habib's crew, all of them. They're just I can't explain how incredible they are with me. You know, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I have to say, it's second to none. And they treat me better than I've ever been treated my whole entire life.
That's cool. So they'll be rolling up. You'll be back at the gym. And yeah, we'll see what happens with these boxing matches this weekend. If you can, you probably won't watch them. It'll be like
No,
during the
no.
night
Look,
time.
this is the thing. This is the thing. Look, listen. I like watching the best versus the best. You know, every so often a little oddball thing, entertainment comes around, and you might want to watch it. But I'm sorry, but when you have too many this recycled person that's retired fighting this person that's retired, and they're not fighting the best of the best, I am not like. You know, it's entertainment, and they have their place. And the bottom line is, look, if the fans are coming and watching, and I'm not a fan, that's okay. It doesn't matter. They don't need me to be a fan. They're getting million plus pay-per-view buys. That's 100% extremely successful, and they're going to keep doing it because why? Because they're getting paid to do them, and there's obviously enough interest. Just because I don't like soccer doesn't mean soccer's not famous. Shit, it's like this, right? If you ask me how many soccer players do I know by name, or even by face, someone told me that, and I went, first one I know is Pele. Second one I go Diego Maradona, right? And then I went, next one is the one from England, David Beckham.
Yep.
Okay. And then the other one that I know is Messi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the other one that I know is Cristiano. I know 5 soccer players. And how big is soccer? Football. I guess they call it football. It's the number 1 sport in the world, and I only know 5. Okay, so what does that mean? So it's what I'm trying to say here is, just because I'm not into, this person versus that person doesn't mean it's not good. Because you can't tell me soccer ain't number 1, because it is.
Right.
And you can't tell me Cristiano isn't the most famous athlete in the world, because he is. His Instagram is 330 million. Who knows how much with social media this guy is? He's an icon of icons. Like, that's what I feel about it. And so what I'm saying is, my opinion on the type of fights that are happening doesn't really have much value, because the value is in who pays to watch. Who pays to watch? If there's value there, there's value there, and they're going to continue to do them.
If you want to watch a fight, there's no major UFC card. There's no major Bellator card, and there's some abstract boxing match of the guy that used to be the guy versus the guy that was the guy. It might be interesting.
But you got to understand this too. Some people would rather watch that than watch a UFC or a Bellator.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to say here. It's like, I like oranges, and I've never tried peanuts, but maybe I try a couple. I don't like peanuts. I'm going back to oranges or apples. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
Everybody's got a taste. So that's why I'm saying, if Thriller and like, okay, for instance, I am interested in the Jake Paul thing, because I was interested in the one with Ben Askren, and I was interested in the Woodley one, mildly, not great, but I was. But on these ones right here, I honestly zero interest. Not that.
Is this like the Chuck Liddell Tito fight to you? Like, you guys are doing it a little late in your career.
Yeah, but for some people, it's like, this is the match they've been wanting. Like, think about you remember you got the fantasy matchups,
Mm-hmm.
in the video games.
Right,
Well,
right.
that's what you got, So I'm just saying, I think they're great, because obviously they're doing them because that means people are watching. I'm just saying I'm not going to be watching. That's all.
Right.
Not saying I don't respect and I don't like those guys. Absolutely, they're great athletes, and obviously they wouldn't be in this position where they are if they weren't great at what they've done and in their careers. Otherwise, what interest would there be? They're there because they're one of the greatest of all time at what they do. It's just me as a coach, me as a fan. I'd rather watch the best UFC fighter fight the best UFC fighter for a title fight. You know, I'd rather watch the best up and comer fight the next best up and comer that, to see who can get to the next level. I'd rather see number one fight number two. But again, it's MMA. That's my sport. That's what I love watching. It's not like I even forgot about boxing. I don't even watch boxing anymore. I used to be a big time boxing fan. And does that mean boxing is no good? Yeah, right. Boxing is fantastic. I used to love boxing. I just don't do it anymore because my life has been involved with too much MMA, and there's only
Right.
so much time in a day, and there's only so much you can want to do.
Did you see the Giga Chikadze fight?
Yes, I did.
Phenomenal.
He's
Like,
phenomenal striker, and he's got appears. Well, the thing is, I don't know how his ground game is, but I'm assuming he's with Ali, if I'm not mistaken. If he doesn't have a ground game, Ali's such a great manager, and he's the best in the business, in my opinion. And Ali will tell him straight up, bro, you need this, you need that. Ali doesn't hold punches. You tell these guys he's great for a reason. He's not. It's no accident why I consider him the best in the business. No accident. He's great for a reason.
that's cool. So I guess you're going to be having fun. We'll take the new clip, and we'll be catching up with you soon. And then you'll be like fired up our next podcast. Maybe we'll do a live one. We'll see, guys. If you see Javier in Dagestan, say hi to Coach. Tell him you watch the YouTubes. To all you Dagestani people that follow the channel, thank you for all your support. And anybody else, please subscribe, like. We're almost at 100K. Help us get there. Totally.
What do you mean we're
appreciate
almost at 100K? We're not even close. What are we?
Hey, I'm in my imagination. We're at 82 point something. Yeah,
Yeah, we're at 100K. Yeah,
almost. Come on, 18 more. Not for any reason, but just to hit it.
You think the fans are getting tired of me making you, not making you, like picking on you a little bit? Because I do pick on you a little bit.
I'm okay with it, man.
I got some people saying, "Quit picking on men."
I'm the big pin cushion. I'll take it.
Well, I just, me, I just like telling the truth to my knowledge, and you like making it more newsworthy type.
Well, I'm not even trying to be a news reporter. I'm just trying to.
No.
Yeah,
You're really good. It's just that I'm a stickler for actual facts. I'm a stickler.
You're a fact man. Like
I'm a fact guy, actually, and I've always been matter of fact. No, it doesn't work that way. It works this way. I don't know. Maybe that's the way my brain works. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm able to look at somebody and pick his bad points, pick his good points, and then tell him how to use it properly. I don't know. Maybe that might be. I know you said tune off this and that, but this is an interesting subject here because when I was with Frank Shamrock and he had quit his fighting career, he wanted me to be in charge of the mental process with the guys because he said how you're really good at telling people what they need to do, so he kind of wanted me to do a certain thing and I didn't kind of appreciate it because I was like, I'm a coach, I'm not the guy's going to tell someone, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I want to work it, and he didn't want me. He wanted me to. So Frank Shamrock saw my talent before I saw my talent. He saw it before I did. I didn't realize it till many years later that he actually, because, I trained him. So, he won, he never lost with me. And in his mind, I made his mind stronger and the great athlete that he was and great fighter that he was. He did what he needed to do, but he's the one that got me to really get further along with my brain because he's the one that told me you tell everybody the way it is, but you have a way of telling them. Like I can give you bad news and make you feel not too bad about bad news. And I have a way of doing that, and it's true, I do.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty interesting, and people know what we're all about.
What are we missing, though? No, hold on. What are we missing? We talked about this. You and I don't plan anything. What are we missing?
Wait.
I don't want to miss anything. What are we
talking about? Look for more headlines?
No, we talked about the same stuff. Okay, what about the?
I'll give you one more. I gotta
the
get
nude thing. The nude thing with the former champ doing a fans only nude pictures that got out, and how she got chastised for doing that. But the fact of the matter is, she knew she was doing it, and she knew it would get out. Eventually, it could get out. But the bottom line is, she did it. She did it willingly, and she knowingly did it that it was going to get out. And she was able to pay off her car, pay off for 6 months of rent, and then the
Right.
UFC fight that she has coming up, and also send money home, and still kept all her training camp money. So when you have a situation like that, and it's their free will to do what they want to do. I mean, who are we to judge? I
Well,
mean, some of those people that are
it's getting
judging,
people are like getting tired of working. Okay, time for my naked pictures. Like it was the thing that all the celebrities did. I'm gonna
some of
do
those people that are
my
judging,
tape or whatever.
people
Right.
that are buying. We're talking to each other too. Not just sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you
No,
go
no.
ahead. No, you go ahead. You first. You go
I
ahead.
think that
You go ahead.
it's been the key to success and popularity for some people, but some people are now like, I'm just going straight for the money, forget the popularity. What do I care? You know what I mean? And that's probably what happened. Just
I don't know. I think she did it because I mean, come on, bro. It's fans only. I didn't know anything about fans only till recently. So you don't do fans only if you want to make money. So she obviously knew what she was doing. Like she said, she was doing it to make money, and it just got out, but she's doing it to make money straight up. She
that's
said it.
crazy.
But hey, you can't blame her. That's her business. It's her business what she wants to do, and that she did that. It's we all have choices, and as long as you're free will, that's the key. Free will. You
Well,
didn't force me to do it. I did it.
depends where you
Huh?
live and what your rules and all these other things are, man. It's a strange time. I'll tell you this much. This is one that you might want to talk about. UFC signs the only guy that's ever knocked out Israel Adesanya twice.
Well, uh, you know, Alex with the F, right? Pereira or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Pereira.
yeah.
I watched him. He's got sledgehammers for
Right.
fists. The fact that he knocked Israel out, you said twice. I knew
Yep.
once,
Well, he
twice.
beat him twice. Excuse me, knocked him out once. I think beat him twice. Decision.
Okay,
My bad.
okay. I knew he beat him
Good
twice, but I
correction.
didn't know he knocked him out twice. I just.
Good
Uh,
correction.
I remember watching the fight, and if I remember correctly, Israel was out pointing him. He just because he's got mallets for hands, he tagged him, and that was it. So I don't personally see him and Izzy being at the same level in MMA because Izzy's so far ahead of him, so far ahead of him. But because he did beat him in a kickboxing match, and knocked him out and beat him another time, people are going to want to see that. But you might be surprised to find out it's going to be a whole different ballgame. This is not kickboxing. This is MMA, and Izzy can kickbox with anybody in the world. He's proven that. He was the best at one point before he got into MMA. So now you got a guy that's the best, two or one of the best, but he's entering MMA, and he has that many. I don't know how many fights does he have in MMA? Alex guy.
I think he's 3-1. I think that's
Three
his
and
record.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, 3-1. Okay, Izzy didn't lose his one fight till he went up to the light heavyweight, right?
Right.
Okay, so how many fights does he have now? Is he 18-1 or something like that?
I believe so. I'll double check.
Okay, and look at the level where Izzy's been.
Right.
I think it'd be interesting, but when? he's Alex has got a long way to go before there's even an enticement in the matchup there, unless you're stupid enough to fight Izzy early, when it's too soon. You got to get used to the cage. You can't just jump into the cage and you're gonna go out and do great right away. It takes a while, man. It takes a while.
Yeah,
So
he
that's
is.
definitely interesting. I'm very interested to see how he's going to fare in these first one. Very interested to see how they match him. Are they going to match him up with the wrestler? Are they going to match him up with the striker-based MMA guy? Because the striker-based MMA guy is going to have a hell of a time trying to do anything. They're not going to want to stand with him. I don't know of any other heavyweight in the middleweight division that's going to want to stand with this guy outside of Izzy.
Right.
I don't. I mean, a Wonder Boy, and he'd be too small. So yeah, I don't really know. I
He's
wouldn't. I mean,
21
if I
and
was
1, by the way. 21 and 1.
21-1.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a bit of experience.
Quite a bit of victory. Right, quite a bit
Yeah.
of victory for
And how
breakfast.
many title fights? How many title fights has he had? I mean, come on, man.
More. More.
Yeah, he's just unbelievable. You know, you know that he's proven he's got his weakness right against a really really good you know, jiu-jitsu guy that's heavier, like, you know, the light heavyweight champ Jan, you know, Blachowicz, right? I don't know how to
Yeah,
pronounce
Blachowicz.
it.
Blachowicz, yeah.
Yeah. He's he doesn't look technically great, Jan, but he is great. He is great. He's got massive power, and he's and now it's like he said, you know. Now do you respect me? And I gotta say, if we say we don't respect him now, then get out of MMA, because you don't know what you're looking at. He's a great fighter, man, and he's a great champion.
That's for sure. Well, so that's pretty much the headlines of what's going on. A lot of the good fights aren't coming up till later on this month that I see anything big. Mostly UFC fight nights and stuff like that. Nothing that's a real eye catcher. But like the Giga one, that was definitely Giga Chikadze. That was amazing. I really like that.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, really, really good.